Hey, it's Andrew here at Bayside. I don't know if you've ever become frustrated with someone or asked them to explain themselves to you. Maybe it's a co-worker, maybe it's a child, maybe it was your parents. Why did you do this? Explain your actions. Sometimes I find that I try to do that with God. I go, God, I did this. I feel that you should do this. I put this in. And I believe that you should make this happen because I did this. Come on, God, explain yourself. Paul addresses this in Romans 9 to 11. Often the church avoids these chapters because they're very complicated. Chapter 9, Paul talks about Israel. He actually goes back to the formation of the nation, and he talks about Jacob and Esau and how God actually chose Jacob over Esau. And then he talks about Pharaoh and how God hardened his heart for his purposes. And then God says these amazing words: shall the clay turn round to the potter and say, oh, what are you doing? No, the potter is in charge. And then in chapter 11, Paul gets this little point of between chapters 9 and 11 at the very end. He produces what is called in theology a doxology. What is a doxology? It's an early church song of praise. Now, we're not sure if Paul wrote it or if there was a worship leader in the church with a really cool harp and he put it together. But here are some of the words, and I'm going to read them to you right now. You ready for this? Because this is going to bless your day. It says, oh, the depth of the riches of the wisdom and the knowledge of God. How unsearchable his judgments and his paths beyond tracing out. Verse 34, who has known the mind of the Lord, or who has been his counselor? Are you ready for this? Verse 35, who has ever given to God that God should repay them? Oh my goodness. I read that recently. I've been reading the Bible now for over 40 years. I've read that passage so many times, but I read it the other day and I thought, oh my goodness, sometimes I actually think that I've given God enough to demand something from him. These two great chapters, 9 to 11 of the book of Romans, they deal with something that's called the sovereignty of God. Ultimately, God is in charge. It's not that I can't think, it's not that I can't question, but there's moments in life where I just need to submit and go, you be God and I'll be me. You be the potter and I'll be the clay. And even though I don't understand what's really going on, I'm going to trust you. I'm not going to demand from you, because I've never paid you anything that I can ask something back. You are God, and at this point, what you're doing is beyond my comprehension. It's not that God doesn't care. It's not that God's not involved. It's not that God's not a loving father. He really does care. But this is what I find sometimes in life, that with my children, the more I explain to them, the more they ask why. There's always another why. Sometimes in life, I've just got to go. You are God. I'm Andrew. We're going to leave it at that. May you be exalted. I pray that helps you today.